There's a lot of decisions that have tested me, but the ones that tested me most were outside the view of the public. It was the most difficult decision. Did not happen when the media called or there was a school issue or anything like that. It was in the quiet spot when it was easy to give up that I had to really lay on some strength that did not come from me. What that has taught me is that you're human as a superintendent, as a leader. And you must find your areas of strength. You must make sure that you're doing those things that empower you.
Take a seat and let's dive into the education unknown. In the superintendent's chair with Dr. Anthony, where dreams unfold. Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Superintendent's Chair. I'm your host, Dr. Anton Anthony, and the mission of this podcast is simple: to preserve the stories, leadership lessons, and vision of educational leaders while helping communities better understand the work behind the title of superintendent. Every superintendent has a story, every school district has a vision, and every conversation reminds us that leadership is ultimately about serving people. Today, I am honored to be joined by Dr. Ross, the superintendent of Lexington-Richland School District 5 in South Carolina. Dr. Ross' leadership journey began as a social studies teacher and has taken him through the principal, executive coaching, higher education, mentoring, and now superintendent. He leads a district serving more than 16,000 students across 23 schools and was recently named the 2027 South Carolina Superintendent of the Year. But this conversation is bigger than the recognition. It is about leading transformation, transforming facilities, systems, school culture, student outcomes, and most importantly, mindset. Under Dr. Ross' leadership, Lexington-Richland School District 5 is guided by a powerful vision. We love and grow our students. Dr. Ross, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the Superintendent's Chair, sir.
Dr. Anthony, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely. I start every interview with just a simple question. Just walk us through your journey from teacher to the superintendent, and how did each role prepare you to lead a district of more than 16,000 students?
Well, Dr. Anthony, I have to be honest, the journey started really from a student because I did not think I was going to education at all. I really wanted to coach. I tell people on the forums, I was a teacher first, but I started out as a football coach because I just love football. And I went to a conference, my first year teaching, you start coaching first, and then school starts. But at the conference for coaches, it's at the banner, coaching is teaching. Coaching is teaching. You start to think about all of the things we do on the practice field, understanding the position, understanding each child's role, the deficits that they have, the feedback you need to give, the repetitions to be empowered. I said, if I can do this on the field, then I'm going to set my classroom up that way. And I think the journey has been, I only taught 3 years because my principal recognized there's something you're doing in the classroom that is getting results. And it was the same thing. It was those small groups, those circuits, identifying the strengths and weaknesses of students and being able to coach them to success. But I'll say this, a through line for everything that I've done has been that I wasn't successful as a student. I was a third grade repeater. We know the statistics about students who fail the third grade, African-American, inner city student with
a pipeline.
Right in the pipeline, discipline problems, single parent household, student poverty. I had a special education student. I had all of the check marks for failure, but I had my second third grade teacher really set the basis of what makes me who I am today for my 16,000. And she said, good, better, best. You never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best.
Is she still teaching? Because I need to put my son in her class.
So that's what we're about. We're about the growth mindset. It's not where you are, it's where you believe you can be. And that's what our focus is for our 16,000 students here. Yeah.
So from 3 years, what else did you do after that? So did you go?
Well, after 3 years of teaching, I became an assistant principal, really focused on how do I put people in the right position. I'm in charge of the disciplinary issues. You know, when you first become AP,
They always put us
three B's, right? You get the buses, the books, and we can't say that anymore. But your signs, right? Yeah, full disclosure, we don't do that anymore.
No.
And you're in charge of this. And I kept seeing, Dr. Anthony, the same kids coming in my office. Now I'm recognizing patterns, right? As a coach, you got to say, all right, now this is a tendency. We have to check tendencies. You have to call an audible. You have to realize that the power is in the pivot. And if you don't have a pivot, then you have no power. And so for us, it was looking at these students who were constantly in the discipline cycle and thinking, what is something else we can do? So we took all of the students were the high-level disciplinary issues and realized that high school, none of the classes were their interest. Think about how long would you engage in something that is not at your interest. For our kids on their way to college, or kids who really were poured in, they saw the interest not necessarily in the material, the subject matter, but that a transcript meant college. But for our students who didn't see college, didn't see that this was an option, didn't see how to pay for college, they didn't see a pathway. And so we took the students that were constantly in the office for discipline, and then we really created an academy for them called Success Acquired in Learning. And what were they learning about? Their interest. And so we would bring in speakers. We would send them out to the community. We would teach them how to tie ties and professional dress for the young ladies. And we went out and we met people in the community who showed them different pathways, whether it was from technical school, military, straight into the workforce, 4-year college. The goal was to show them pathways. So they went to my alma mater, Duke, and they went to the factories. We went to the full range to see the different pathways. And guess what? Discipline dropped for these students. Graduation rates increased. And that was kind of the leading piece that allowed me to become principal at that very same school.
How many years did you spend as AP?
5 years. So,
wow. Okay.
Yes, okay. I was a teacher for 3 years, assistant principal for 5, and then principal for 8.
You were ready. Yeah. So after the principalship, did you go straight to superintendency, or was it district?
That's Dr. Anthony. I tell you what, the path had veered off. I was on kind of the stair steps, and I took a position at just what I was out of position. I was not in the right. I was in the right game, playing the right sport. But I'm in the wrong position. If you're deep into football, you know the analogy that, if you take the center and make them the quarterback or the tailback, right, it's not going to go well. No. And you take that quarterback and you make them the center, it's not going to go well. And you reverse them and put them in their right positions, then we have success. And that I took a position called Director of Secondary Education. And it was not my position. I am a visionary, Dr. Anthony. Mm-hmm. I can see where we need to go. Mm-hmm. I struggle to get there. Mm-hmm. So the strategic planning, the detailed strategic plans that need to be put out, matching the strategies with the right timelines, that's something I've always delegated. It's not really my forte. Well, that's what all this job was. It was very little opportunity for me to vision system-wide. And so I left that position within 4 months. And I said, I'm going to coach principal. Mm-hmm. And I started my own consulting company doing executive coaching. And the first job as being a coach is what I did. I traveled around the country, even around the world. I've been as far as Bangkok to Thailand, coaching principals. Wrote a book called Empowering the Heart. It was really about the inspiring students and staff to maximize their potential. And that's my work. And so I've been very proud of that. And it was in the 3rd year of executive coaching, being an adjunct professor at University of South Carolina for educational leadership. In the 3rd year, I was asked to serve as an interim. My home district had an interim position for superintendent, and I was going to fill in until a permanent superintendent was hired. So I actually contracted the district with my company.
Wow.
Say, because I'm interim, I'm not the permanent. So pay the company and I'll serve as the interim. Well, when it was time to do the search, I felt like, I'll put my name in the hat, and was awarded the permanent superintendent. So starting year 6, and it's been really exciting.
Awesome. Awesome. Listen, we have a kindred spirit. I don't know. Maybe it's just a spirit that's just now in South Carolina, that's in Georgia. You wrote a book called Empowering the Heart. I also wrote a book called Loving Education. But it's just crazy when I'm hearing you and just listening and tracking the journey. I was like, wow, this is me. This is me. Like, so, good deal. Hey, I thank you for your work that you have been doing. Just you understanding the work of a principal and coaching. Coaching is, people just think that we just tell people to do stuff. No, I have to make sure that I want to put you in the right position. Amen. It's like I'm gonna football. Here it is. If you're running a route, wide receiver, I need you to know where the ball will be. Can catch it. Now, I'm not going to make you catch it, but you got to get your hands right so you can catch it.
That's right. That's right.
That's what coaching is to me, just making sure that principals are in the right position. So thank you for that work. Now, I know I'm talking to a celebrity. 2027 South Carolina Superintendent of the Year.
Wow.
Now, what did that recognition mean to you? And what do you believe it says about the students and employees and families and the community?
And that's exactly what it says, Dr. Anthony. It says a recognition of their accomplishment. We at the helm as leaders, we get the benefit from that. So, we are when wonderful things happen, you give the praise to the faculty, staff, the community. And then when the arrows come, you stand in front and you take them. So we're very proud of that. But I think when it comes to these recognitions, it's really about the story that we tell that year. And for us, the story has been really the power of community building schools. I think sometimes we think about schools, and anytime there's something wrong with the child, you'll hear they need to teach that in schools. There's obesity problem. What are they doing in the schools? If there's a truancy problem, what are the schools doing? If there's a situation with child hunger or bullying, what are the schools doing? And yes, we're part of the equation, but we're not the whole equation. Really, the community, the house, that's all a part of it. Came from a community where the child's responsibility of who that child was centrally located in the home. I heard teachers would tell me, you don't have any home training. They never said it was school training. They said that child don't have any home training. So they would ask, what church you attend, or who's your mama, who's your granddad? Because the community was a part of developing the child. And that's one of the things that we believed in. We looked at all of our reading scores, especially in that pivotal elementary age of third grade, and put them into quartile. The highest performing, we marked those with blue. On grade level, green. Approaching grade level, yellow. And then a year or more behind, we put those in red. We mapped it by schools, and you always see the areas where the high poverty schools, you have the lower performance, right? We always know that regression, but that year we did something different. We put it by home, by resident. We mapped our scores by residents. And what we saw is that it wasn't the schools that were failing. We had community clusters that needed support. And our focus then became, how do we get into these communities? And when we went to these high need communities where some places 95% of the students in that community were at the lowest quartile in reading, we realized that this is where we need to provide supports. And so we sent in our social workers first, and that was huge. And our social workers, when they talked to the parents about needs, we were talking about English scores and math scores and graduation rates. The social workers came back and said, they don't want to hear about that.
They need clothes. They need lights.
This is right. This is housing security, food security, child care. These are the things we're talking about. And you realize that the brain research says you cannot learn when you're stressed. And so why was it that these communities had the lowest reading quartiles? It's because these were the communities of the highest stress. We said we're going to do something about it. Becoming the 2027 South Carolina Superintendent of the Year is really South Carolina's opportunity to tell that story. And next year, it'll be another story to tell. But this is the story our state chooses to tell about a district who looked at community stressors to increase academic achievement.
This is amazing. This is a very unique story, so I'm glad I'm talking to you. But wow! So what resources were you able to give? And I know I'm just here, but that you were able to provide to that.
That's the magic of this, because you would think you can knock on a door and say, "Hey, we are the school district, and I am here to support." Those doors will close right in front of your face, because you have to build trust. It took us 2 years building trust, not only with the residents of that community, but the owners and the management company. I think when we hear about Section 8 housing, we hear about affordable housing communities, we hear about Section 42 properties and investment situations, and we don't realize that sometimes we can be in a community where there's just not a lot of resources for children. Access to the libraries or to recreate, the way they are situated, there's not those community support that our kids would need, or any child would need, to be successful. That's what we offered the management company and the owners of this particular housing development, that we would be, through our funds, our local funds, our general operating funds, we're going to provide resources to you. We're going to provide a community support service, tutoring. We're going to send our school counselors, instead of you having to come to the school because of your work schedule. We will do registration. We will do college prep. We will do all of that in the community. Wow. So all you have to do is go down to the rental office. We'll sign your child up for courses. We're going to offer jobs at the school. If they need to work, they can work at the school. So we have what's called the First Jobs Initiative. And so during your planning period, as a study hall for a student, during your study hall, come work for us. So you can be a student and an employee. We have jobs in clerical, we have jobs in maintenance, we have jobs in food services, and we even have jobs in transportation. You won't drive the bus, but you'll train so that when you become 18, you can get your CDL and drive one of our buses. So it was to know that we're going to provide after school and summer programming for your child to address those things that were in the gap. We felt like if we could relieve some of those stressors, those students would do well. So we're providing libraries on wheels there. We have connections with healthcare for both the students and parents, screening, because if the child may feel well, but if they're worried about mama, they're not going to be focused in school. So the family needs supports, and everything from vegetables to our farm to table program. So it was really focusing our efforts into those communities to provide those supports.
I was going to ask this question, but I'm probably going to skip it, because you are showing me and telling me now the vision of how you love and grow your students by doing that. If you are in a field and you're planting, you are ensuring the ground is tilled, the weeds are gone. You are getting rid of all of the excuses by providing jobs and different things for the community. So I was going to ask that, but great job, sir.
Oh, listen. Well, that's our little logo here. It's the heart and the leaf. It's love represents all of the social emotional things that we need to do to ensure our students feel like they are connected. And then grow is to make sure that that is represented in their academic performance. It's not really achievement in our district. Okay. If you're in the 7th grade and you have a 5th grade reading level, well, if you get to the 6th grade reading level, you're still behind. But we're going to celebrate you because you grew. And so that student walks around as a champion just as much as our National Merit Scholars. So celebrating the growth of our students so that all students can achieve higher.
I want to say this, just add before I move to the next question, because I know this work is lonely as a fellow superintendent, past superintendent. And so I want to commend you, but not only you, but to the board members that support you and the district office that supports the vision that you are having, and they have to run with it. So great job to the team.
It really takes a village. It takes the community, and for our board to support this, because we're talking about new initiatives to fund. And so they have been really supportive of these initiatives.
I read something. You all are in a season of operational transformation. So moving the district, how do you move the district from the I can't mindset to the I can mindset? And how do you lead this transformation that changes both facilities and the beliefs?
That's great. Yeah, Operation Transformation was a lot that's going on. As a superintendent, making system-wide changes is dangerous. Mm-hmm. Change never comes with total acceptance. Whether you're changing even if you're changing for the good, when you move that status quo, there's uncomfortability there that you have to address. We did a bond referendum, a districting or rezoning and renovation all at the same time. I had superintendents tell me, don't touch these landmines. When you rezone, you're in trouble. If you do a referendum, you have it coming to you. And if you do anything that changes with renovation, it can cause problems. So we did all three of those. And that's what that transformation was about, because you're changing your attendance lines to balance out populations, make sure all facilities are being used. You're bringing all those facilities up to code with major renovations. We've done a lot of instructional wings and construction. And also, we restructured our district. We have multiple different, from my 13 elementary schools, some went to fifth grade, some went to sixth grade. We had one that was, some go to fourth grade. We had one that was a fifth, sixth school. At different versions of schools. So we've changed that to provide consistent for all of our students. But the biggest thing was, as we talked about facilities transforming, it was really to make sure that our mindsets transform to the potential of all students. Moving students from I can't to I can, from I can't to I can is really about ensuring that they don't talk about what they can't do, but how can they do something. And so we moved every day, our students say I can, and then the learning target. And we're going to work until you can do that.
My question, still some breakup, but my question is, did you do the bond, the district rezoning, and the renovation, like not doing the same time? Because if you did, I'm surprised you still are here.
The miracle. I did it all at the same time. We decided to rip the Band-Aid off, and we did it all at the same time. It was a 3-year planning process, a lot of communication. And I can tell you, Dr. Anthony, after 3 years of planning it, I'm going to tell you, we've done hundreds of meetings, both online and in person. I've lost my voice answering questions with town halls. We have to do hard things as leaders.
You must have did that before you renewed your contract. You must have got the
way. I've always felt that if you do the job to keep the job, you'll never do a good job.
So you've been recognized for building strong cultures, improving student outcomes, and developing leaders. What systems do you believe are essential for sustained excellence? Because we know once we get to a level, sometimes it can kind of do a little drop off. But what do you believe that's essential for sustaining the level and even improving it each and every year?
I think it really comes down to connections, because as a school leader, you really have to understand the pulse of what's going on in the school, the headwinds that confront you. Culture is what we do. Climate is how we feel. To really understand what people do, you have to really, it's a little psychology. I believe in understanding that people's actions, what they do, is all driven by their beliefs, and their beliefs are driven by their thoughts. And you can get the best way to have an understanding of why people are doing something is really through questioning of their thoughts, talking to them. Some of the reasons that student outcomes are not improved is because of adult preferences and what they prefer. But those preferences don't change because no one's really talked to those adults about, why does changing this teaching methodology to another one or differentiating by groups, even though that's new for you, why is that better for the students? And having those conversations with those teachers about what their fears are, what their supports are. So a part of Operation Transformation is understanding that we all can grow. We all can shift. Maybe this year I'm going to learn a new position because that's what's better for the team. And if we can transform, then so can the students.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What are you most proud of in Lexington-Richland School District 5? And what would you want educators and the community beyond South Carolina to understand about what makes the district special?
Behind me are hearts, and not one of these hearts that I buy. Like everyone, they bring them to me, and they're all over the district. And I think what I'm most proud of is that people not only understand that we must love students first for them to grow, but they're practicing it. And so all of our schools, they talk about how we love and grow students. And if there's one thing I'm most proud of is that vision started and it's continued through my leadership.
When people eventually reflect on your leadership, when it's all said and done, another 50 years from now, what do you hope that they will say, because of Dr. Ross, this is something that he's changed, or this is something that he impacted when he was superintendent? What do you want people to say?
I would hope when they look back, it really doesn't have to be even my name that appears in the comments. But they say, in that district, that's a district that's going to look to who you are first. Education, it comes from two Latin roots. One is educare, which means to train up. And we are here, I think, as every school district in the country to train up our students. But there's another one that is educare, and that is to lead out. And it means to lead out. And that means to me that in the hearts of every child, there is a passion, and the true educator leads it out. I would hope that my legacy would be that in this district, we're always looking into the hearts of the child to lead that forward.
This is a part of the show where we ask 5 questions and 5 quick answers. You are now in the chair. 5 seconds. Beat your mountain.
Beach.
One word that best describes your leadership.
Visionary.
One word to describe your district.
We love.
Love. One quality every superintendent must possess.
Be a gardener.
One thing people may be surprised to learn about you.
That I like to garden.
Really? Awesome. You might have some land that I don't know about.
No, just a little garden on the deck.
Awesome.
But I describe myself as a gardener. You take a seed and your job is to turn it into fruit.
Every superintendent who takes a seat in the superintendent's chair receives this same final question. So looking back over your career, what is one decision that truly tested you as a leader, and what did that experience teach you? As our final question.
There's a lot of decisions that have tested me, but the ones that tested me most were outside the view of the public. It was in my solitude when you're deciding to move forward or to give up. When no one's there, the pressures of the media are not there, it's easy to make an excuse and to bow out. But you move forward anyway. And I think what that has taught me is that you're human as a superintendent, as a leader. And you must find your areas of strength. You must make sure that you're doing those things that empower you. I start every day off with prayer as my empowerment. But I also know that there are times where I need to call my brother, we go golfing or something to get away to balance your perspective. And so I think my most difficult decision did not happen when the media called or there was a school issue or anything like that. It was in the quiet spot when it was easy to give up. That I had to really lay on some strength that did not come from me.
Amen. The superintendency is a lonely place, and I pray that people can watch this and see that we're leading, but we're doing this alone. So Dr. Ross, thank you so much, sir, for taking time to sit in the superintendent's chair and for sharing your leadership journey, your heart for students, and the powerful work happening in Lexington-Richland School District 5. Your story is a reminder that transformation is not just about buildings, programs, or systems. It's about people believing in them, developing them, and creating conditions for students, employees, and communities to grow. To everyone watching or listening, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Superintendent's Chair. I hope this conversation reminds you that behind every superintendent title is a leader making difficult decisions, building teams, and working every day to serve children. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with an educator, a parent, a leader, or student who needs to hear it. Until next time, keep leading and never forget, dreams unfold in the superintendent's chair.
Take a seat and let's dive into the education unknown.